The most bizarre experiments in history. Hey, welcome back to Zestcron, your hub for the wildest curiosities, hidden histories, and jaw-dropping facts. Today we're diving into a realm where science meets the surreal, the most bizarre experiments in history. From mind control to human-animal hybrids, these experiments push the boundaries of ethics and imagination, leaving us both fascinated and horrified. Whether driven by curiosity, war, or sheer madness, they've shaped our understanding of science and its limits. If you love uncovering strange truths, hit that like button, subscribe to Zestcron for more mind-bending tales, and let's get started. What defines a bizarre experiment? Before we plunge in, let's set the stage. Bizarre experiments are those that defy conventional wisdom, often involving extreme methods, questionable ethics, or outright weirdness. Some were conducted in secret, others in the name of progress, but all left a mark, sometimes literally, on history. We'll explore cases from the 18th century to the Cold War, spanning psychology, medicine, and military science. These stories aren't just about science gone wrong. They reflect the human drive to explore the unknown, no matter the cost. Ready to be shocked? Let's go. The Monster Study, Stuttering and Shame. Our first stop is the Monster Study, conducted in 1939 by Wendell Johnson at the University of Iowa. This psychological experiment aimed to understand stuttering but took a dark turn. Johnson and his team, including graduate student Mary Tudor, worked with 22 orphaned children, splitting them into two groups. One group received positive reinforcement, praised for their speech, while the other was harshly criticized, told they spoke poorly, and risked becoming stutterers, even if they didn't. The goal? To see if negative feedback could induce stuttering. The results were chilling. Many children in the criticized group developed speech issues, anxiety, and low self-esteem that lingered into adulthood. Some never recovered psychologically. The experiment was so unethical, lacking consent, and causing lasting harm that it was buried for years, only resurfacing in the 2000s when survivors sued the university. It's a stark reminder of how psychological manipulation can leave deep scars, raising questions about the balance between science and humanity. Project MKUltra, Mind Control Madness. Next, let's dive into Project MKUltra, a CIA program that sounds like a sci-fi thriller but was all too real. Launched in 1953 during the Cold War, this top-secret initiative aimed to develop mind control techniques to counter Soviet brainwashing. Led by chemist Sidney Gottlieb, the CIA tested LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and even electroshock on unwitting subjects, often prisoners, mental patients, and U.S. citizens. One infamous case involved Frank Olson, a biochemist who was dosed with LSD without consent in 1953. Days later, he plunged to his death from a hotel window, officially a suicide, but many suspect foul play or a breakdown from the drug. Other experiments included dosing entire towns with psychoactive substances to study mass behavior. Declassified documents reveal over 150 sub-projects, but most records were destroyed in 1973. The 1977 Senate hearings exposed the program's abuses, leading to apologies and reforms. MKUltra remains a symbol of government overreach and the ethical tightrope of espionage science. The human zombie experiment, Clairvius Narcisse. Shifting to a stranger tale, let's explore the case of Clairvius Narcisse in Haiti, tied to the zombie phenomenon. In 1962, Narcisse was declared dead after a mysterious illness and buried. 2 years later, he reappeared, claiming he'd been turned into a zombie by a voodoo priest using a potent powder. Anthropologist Wade Davis investigated in the 1980s, linking this to tetrodotoxin, a neurotoxin from pufferfish, combined with other drugs like datura. Davis theorized that the powder induced a death-like state, slowing heart rate and breathing, fooling doctors. Survivors were then revived and enslaved, their minds dulled by hallucinogens. Narcisse's story, detailed in Davis's book The Serpent and the Rainbow, suggests a cultural experiment in control, not science fiction, but a real practice rooted in Haitian voodoo. While debated, it highlights how local beliefs can intersect with pharmacology in bizarre ways. The Tuskegee syphilis experiment, deception in medicine. Now let's turn to a medical scandal, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Starting in 1932, the U.S. Public Health Service studied untreated syphilis in African American men in Alabama, promising free health care. Instead, 399 poor, mostly illiterate sharecroppers were misled, told they were being treated for bad blood, while researchers withheld penicillin, available since the 1940s, to observe the disease's progression. For 40 years, participants suffered blindness, insanity, and death, with the study only ending in 1972 after public outrage. The fallout included lawsuits, a $10 million settlement, and the 1979 Belmont Report, which set ethical standards for research. This experiment's bizarre twist, deliberate neglect for science, exposed racial injustices and reshaped medical ethics forever. The Stanford Prison Experiment, power gone wild. Finally, let's look at the Stanford Prison Experiment of 1971, led by Philip Zimbardo. This psychological study aimed to explore the effects of perceived power. Zimbardo turned a Stanford basement into a mock prison, assigning 24 male students as guards or prisoners. The plan was a 2-week simulation, but it spiraled out of control in 6 days. Guards became abusive, subjecting prisoners to humiliation and sleep deprivation, while prisoners showed signs of extreme stress, including breakdowns. Zimbardo himself got too involved, acting as superintendent. The experiment was halted early, revealing how quickly normal people can adopt cruel roles under authority. Critics later questioned its validity. Some claim it was staged, but it remains a landmark in understanding human behavior's dark side, reflections, and modern lessons. These experiments, from stuttering shame to mind control, show science's potential for both brilliance and brutality. They've driven reforms, like informed consent laws and oversight boards, ensuring today's research prioritizes ethics. Yet, they also warn us. Curiosity without boundaries can lead to horror. Modern parallels, like debates over AI ethics or genetic engineering, echo these lessons. Wrapping up the journey. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride through history's bizarre experiments here on Zest Cron. From psychological manipulation to zombie potions, these tales push the limits of what we think possible. Which experiment shocked you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. If this dive into the strange intrigued you, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Zest Cron for more historical oddities, and hit the bell to stay updated. Next time, we'll uncover another mystery, maybe the secrets of ancient tech or forgotten explorers. Until then, keep questioning the world. See you soon.